Hello and welcome to another episode of the Classical Republican. Today we're doing a reaction video to an Indigenous American Republic. So let's watch this.
If you're from the West like me, you probably imagine the development of democracy as a strictly European affair, influenced by the cities of Athens and those ancient republics has literally been built into the architecture of our modern political systems. But people all around the world at various different times have experimented with more collective forms of government. In researching another video about the rapid civilization, really fascinating example from the 16th century, an indigenous American republic, Tlaxcala, predecessor of the modern Mexican state of Tlaxcala. Today, I want to take a look at the political system of the 16th century republic, its political officials, its extremely severe induction processes, and the Nahuatl beliefs that form the ideological bedrock of this 16th century republic. It should be well interesting. I love learning about this stuff. I think it's great. The first mention of Tlaxcalan in the European historical record comes from Cortez of the Spanish King Charles V. Cortez was attempting to make contact with the Aztec Emperor Moctezuma. He was advised by the King of Sempoal, the coastal city of Mexico, to travel through the territory of Tlaxcala rather than head straight through the Aztec Empire. See, Cortez thinks Spanish and the Tlaxcaltecans get on right away. Immediately started ambushing the Spanish, killing 45 men and wounding all but 10 of Cortez's horses. Cortez responded ferociously. Women and children ran naked in the streets, and they began to go on somehow. Cortez set up camp for the night and was again ambushed by the Tlaxcaltecans. It's fair to say at this point the morale of his troops was really plummeting. Despite Cortez's desperate position, the Tlaxcaltecans failed to blow and were unsure how to treat this new enemy, especially considering this new firepower Spanish had access to, which they hadn't possessed. And it's here we get our first glimpse of the Tlaxcalan political system. On the following day, at 10 o'clock, Sintigal, the Captain General of this province, came to see him, together with some 50 men in front. Tlaxcalan explained why they had attacked Spanish. They had tried without reinforcements, not by name and by name, for one against a Tlaxcalan. But this province never had been, nor had they ever had another ruler. This is the first glimpse we get of their republican system. They had no king. They never had a king, and they certainly didn't want Cortez or Charles V to become their king either. During this meeting, Cortez is invited to the city, Tlaxcala, which he describes as than Granada are very much stronger. The orderly manner in which, until now, these people have been governed is almost like that of the states of Venice, or Genoa, or Pisa, but they have no overlap. There are many cities whom reside in this city. For their wars, they join together, and together they can remain of them. Clearly, the Republican system is immediately apparent to Cortez, even though he is a newcomer. The Aztecs, and it's immediately apparent to him that Tlaxcalan is run in a similar way to these medieval Italian republics. In many ways, modern archaeology backs up this account of Cortez's. It seems that Tlaxcalan was truly a unique place. Monte Alban, Xochicalco, Chichen Itza, Palenque, throughout Mesoamerica, capital cities of the province and ball courts. These buildings were often raised on platforms of varying heights. Ellen, on the other hand, it couldn't have been more different. Let me start by saying that Tlaxcalan is not characterized by the palaces, the pyramids, and however tombs that were typical of pre-Hispanic Mesoamerican civilization, typical of many European civilizations. The lack of these buildings really speaks to the way that Tlaxcaltecan society was organized. Specifically, that these sorts of buildings mark despotic power. Because rulers are given a wide range of resources that are jointly produced for their personal benefit. In the absence of these, we have markers in the material record. The people were able to control their governing officials. So we have the victory of democracy over autocracy. So what does this look like? Yeah, it sounds wonderful, but how do we see this in archaeological record? How do we see this democratic setup? The primary feature that really defines it is the amount of public spaces. Investment in building large and accessible plazas was key, and these plazas were the places where a lot of the daily activities site scale, we have sort of three major plaza areas, and these define the centers of the three major urban districts, but one is not significantly larger than the other. They're between about 7,500 square meters and about 12,000 square meters, but one is not significantly more loud or more important than the other. So we don't have a central plaza. That sort of central plaza plan, we have these three districts that are sort of equally ranked that shows that first of all, we have a bunch of additional plazas that are smaller, so there's sort of two scales of plazas. And we mapped a total of about 24 plazas. It means that under excavations will cover additional plazas. So the sort of what characterizes the city are these large, open public spaces that are accessible instead of being surrounded by houses, and the houses of the rich and powerful are surrounded by residential terraces, which are pretty uniform. The largest of which could not have supported a house big enough to 1,000 meters squared. To put that into perspective, a typical Mesoamerican palace might range between 10,000 and 20,000 meters squared. So we're aware the largest house in Tlaxcalan was 10 to 20 times smaller than their contemporaries elsewhere. And then when we go to the portable material culture, there's no distinction between wealthy and poor in terms of material culture, the portable material culture. So everybody cooked in jars that were with sound relevant. Everybody made their tortillas on griddles that were either orange or had this red paint on them, and absolutely everybody had these highly decorated, multicolored Kodak style because of the multiple colors for their plates, and that was uniform in every single house we dug. And if you go to other parts of Mexico or Mesoamerica that are contemporaneous, only the wealthiest individuals, the most powerful individuals, so the whole of this the richest Aztec. Outside of the city was the monumental Tizatlan. And again, it totally defies the norms of the region. Rather than being a palace where excess is tightly controlled and like this was like an arena.
turned inside out. Since that land contains large open spaces that were clearly designed for hundreds, maybe even thousands of people to at least witness, maybe even participate in the political process. Cortez's extract and modern archaeology give us our first clear insight into this republic. And give us the meat, they don't give us the juicy details, which is what we all definitely want. Whether these officials, how was this society administered? Well, authors writing soon after the Spanish conquest give us the information that we want. Tlaxcaltecan politics seems to have revolved around a senate made up of officials called Teucli. These chaps had both a military and administrative role in the state. Now, Tlaxcalan was definitely not an egalitarian society. There were commoners like the valley and nobles who built it, upper middle classes. So Tlaxcalan was definitely not something to work on. Amongst the nobility. Munoz Camargo, the Tlaxcaltecan mestizo writing towards the end of the 16th century, noted that Teucli status could be bestowed on anyone who would be successful in war, given good advice to the ruling Senate, or being commercially successful. No doubt, being a noble or having a noble as a father helps in your position in Tlaxcaltecan society. Nepotism exists everywhere, but it was not strictly necessary. In theory, the office of Teucli was based on your ability, not on the blood in your veins. Let's say you're an upcoming Tlaxcaltecan. You've done a great job killing Aztecs, and the Senate approves your nomination. What's next? First, your septum would be pierced, and you would be awarded an eagle's claw and a jaguar's bone, symbolizing that you had acted in a manner consistent with the virtues exhorted by Tezcatlipoca, Tlaxcalan's major deity. After this, the common people were invited to hurl insults at you and tear the clothes from your body to try your patience. So they elected training was required to show humility and penance. The more noble your birth, the more humility you had to show. Following this public dressing down, the Teucli had to live and perform service in a temple for 1 to 2 years. During this time, which involved sleep deprivation, fasting, and beatings with ropes covered in backward spines, they were educated and trained in the moral behavior befitting the office of Teucli and the responsibilities they had to the state rather than to their own personal wealth. After this time at the temple, if the candidate was successful, they were awarded a bow and scepter, symbolizing their role as a leader in war and administration. Finally, after all of this, after the beatings and the scepter, the successful Teucli held a lavish feast. Montalina states that between 1,200 and 1,700 turkeys were typically sacrificed for this great ceremony for the new Teucli. So this was really a massive shindig. This was a huge party, and huge open spaces. Thousands of people must have been in attendance. Well, I wouldn't give to go back before a major celebration like this. Roasted turkeys, the pulque is flowing. Crazy. Must have been wild. To pay for the Teucli's new role as military commander and administrator, he was awarded a Tecali. A Tecali seems to have been a division of land, but also people that went along with the office of Teucli. Tlaxcalan was probably a Tecali. The people that lived within a Tecali were required to give a percentage of their excess production to the Teucli and, of course, provide soldiers for its military units. The land and people that came with this Tecali were never really the personal property of the Teucli. Sources describe a difference between the land that the Lord ate from and the Tecali. Maybe you could liken it to a Roman governorship to compare it to Europe. Fantastic thing to have at your disposal, but never truly your job. The Teucli also sat in the next Senate to pass some judgments on seemingly every aspect of life. The daily basis is really murky and we're not quite sure. We don't know how many people were in it, The Spanish government at Tlaxcala that followed the conquest had 220 electors. That could have been based on the Senate of Tlaxcala. And the sources just don't quite agree. Some say 50, some say over 100. We just don't know. How they came to decisions is also not known. Totally, who had served for a long time, particularly renowned, could achieve the rank of Tlatoque. There may have been as many as 10 Tlatoque in the Senate, but we have no evidence that they had any specific codified powers above anyone else. It seemingly might have been just a title of respect. Just because you had attained this rank of Tlatoque, it doesn't mean that you were above the law. Zarita describes the execution of the brother of one of the most important members of the Senate, called Maxis Katzin, for the crime of adultery. In another important case, Xicotencatl, the general who almost defeated Cortes, was tried by the Senate for treason because he attempted once again to organize resistance against the Spanish. He was found guilty, and then the sources disagree what happened to him. He was either executed by the Tlaxcaltecans or he was handed over to Cortes, who executed him. But Xicotencatl, he was absolutely right. The Spanish, of course, did not have the best interests of the Tlaxcaltecans at heart. No doubt he loved his country, he loved his people. But the ideology of this Tlaxcaltecan republic, the ideology that underpinned maybe Xicotencatl's love of his country, has been lost to history more or less. We just are left with a few intriguing moments, but I do give us fascinating insight into how Tlaxcaltecans may have visualized their republic's place in the world. The religious beliefs of Nahua civilizations are notoriously complicated. There are so many different gods who have different manifestations according to different people and different cultures. It's incredibly complex. It's a great video. I'll link to it in the description. Intriguingly, fascinatingly, one of the gods that seems to have had a special place in the hearts and minds of Tlaxcaltecans was Tezcatlipoca. What is so potentially significant about this is that in certain stories in Nahua mythology, religion, he plays a sort of trickster role, antagonizing different monks. In one story, Tezcatlipoca gets this other god slash so drunk that his sons with his sister. Incest was a massive taboo in Nahua society. This would have been considered deeply immoral. In another tale, Tezcatlipoca convinces a Toltec ruler to sacrifice his own sons, literally ending his own dynasty. Doesn't really get more anti-monarch than that. Nothing worse can really happen to a royal family than destroying the dynasty, destroying this bloodline. It could be that the aspects of Tezcatlipoca that encourage this sort of tarnishing of various monarchs were really revered by the Tlaxcaltecans. It's a really intriguing possibility. Sadly, we just can't say for sure. It's just one of those things that are lost to the mists of time. But there's a really intriguing possibility that they emphasized aspects of our religion that gave a sort of philosophical underpinning to their republican system. It's an intriguing idea. It's an intriguing idea and entirely possible. I think I'm going to end the video there. That's all I've got to say about the Republic of Tlaxcala. For sure, that is not all that can be said about it. They really stood out to me when I first learned about them because it's so easy to fall into massive sweeping generalizations about history. All of history was just absolute tyranny until the Enlightenment, for example. That's thinking that I've been guilty of myself. And then when you learn about something that challenges your preconceptions, your misconceptions, it's just so interesting. And what makes studying history and archaeology so interesting? I'm always learning something new. And the Republic of Tlaxcala in its ceremonies that are clearly designed to promote humility and its officials is a fantastic reminder that people have experimented with all sorts of different forms of government throughout time and throughout the world. I wish we encouraged as much humility in our current leaders as they did. But a huge thanks to Dr. Larry Brown, who is leading the Tlaxcala. So, friends, I've been with me. I've got the strength of that.
All right, so that was a really interesting video. I like that. Let's talk about some of the classical Republican things, and I think he does rightly point out. So we do have some comparisons with classical republics, like Rome. You have the something that does appear to be like a Roman forum in their Senate arena. You have the in ancient Rome, you had in the Republic, you had the Roman Forum, and that's where the Senate met. But then you also had a place for the people, and there was a stand where you addressed the Senate. But then you could also turn around when it came time to address the public, the people, and deliver a speech to them so that they could be more informed if they have to vote on something. You have something that seems like a Spartan initiation. That's really interesting. Yeah, some questions I have are like, how long did this last? Were there any real, any more checks and balances on this? That's kind of difficult to see. There does seem to be a sense of equality, or at least more relative to surrounding societies. It does raise the question as to whether classical republicanism can be seen as a universal ideology, and I don't know if that is the case here, but it does raise the question. So this was a really good video, and I really appreciated them for doing that. So long live the Republic.